Why forgiveness is essential for a fulfilling life. Have you ever found yourself replaying an old hurt in your mind, something someone said, something someone did, and no matter how much time has passed, it still stings? Maybe it happened 10 years ago, or maybe it was just last week. But it lingers. And sometimes, it even keeps you up at night. You're not alone. We all carry emotional scars, especially as we grow older. Life doesn't happen without its fair share of disappointment, betrayal, or loss. And when we've lived a full life, we've likely collected more than a few painful moments along the way. But here's something that might surprise you: those moments don't have to define the rest of your journey. In fact, the path to peace, to joy, and to freedom starts with one incredibly powerful, but often misunderstood, choice: forgiveness. Now, I know. Forgiveness isn't easy. It's not about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. And it certainly doesn't mean saying that what someone did was okay. It's not about the other person at all, really. It's about you, your heart, your peace of mind, your future. When we hold on to resentment, we carry a heavy burden. It can wear us down, not just emotionally, but physically too. Studies have shown that chronic anger and stress can lead to health problems like high blood pressure, heart issues, and even weaker immune function. But the opposite is also true. Letting go can heal more than just the heart. It can actually make you feel lighter, mentally, spiritually, and even physically. Forgiveness clears the space where pain once lived and allows peace to grow in its place. Think of it this way: every day you hold on to bitterness, you're giving your energy to someone or something that may not even be thinking about you anymore. That's time and strength you could be using to enjoy your life, to laugh, to connect, to create something new. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to rebuild a relationship. Sometimes it just means you stop letting that memory rent space in your head for free. You stop dragging it with you like an anchor tied around your spirit. And if you're thinking, but they never said sorry, that's okay too. Forgiveness isn't about waiting for an apology. It's about deciding you no longer want to carry the weight of someone else's choices. You deserve peace. You deserve freedom. And that starts with you giving yourself the gift of release. So how do we do that? How do we actually begin to forgive, not in theory, but in practice? That's what we'll explore next, step by step, with small but meaningful ways to help you move forward, not for them, but for you. One of the most powerful ways to begin forgiving is to allow yourself to feel everything that comes with it, without shame. Hurt, anger, confusion, even grief. These emotions are not signs of weakness. They're signs that you've been through something real. And sometimes, before we can let something go, we have to first let ourselves truly feel it. You don't need to rush the process. Forgiveness isn't a race. It's more like gently loosening your grip on something that's been clenched in your hand for far too long. Maybe you're not ready to fully open that hand yet. That's okay. But just loosening your fingers, even a little, can be a powerful start. Sometimes, writing helps. You don't have to send a letter. But putting your thoughts down in your own private notebook, what happened, how it affected you, what you wish had been different, can help you release what's swirling inside. The act of writing is like clearing out a space in your heart where healing can begin. And here's something else to consider. Sometimes, forgiveness means forgiving yourself. Maybe you've made decisions in the past that you regret. Maybe you've hurt others, or maybe you feel like you let yourself down. But hanging on to guilt forever won't change the past. It only steals the joy from your present. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to have made mistakes and still grow from them. Self-forgiveness is often the hardest kind, but it's also the most freeing. And the truth is, you can't give love and grace to others if you've never learned how to give it to yourself. Another small but meaningful practice is speaking forgiveness out loud, even if you're alone. Saying the words, "I forgive you," or "I forgive myself," helps your heart start believing it. It might sound simple, But there's power in giving your pain a voice and then gently replacing it with compassion. You don't have to approve of what happened. You don't have to pretend everything's fine. But by choosing forgiveness, you take back your power. You decide that the past doesn't get to hold you hostage anymore. It's also important to remember that forgiveness doesn't mean everything goes back to how it was. You can forgive someone and still choose to create new boundaries. You can let go of anger without letting someone back into your life. Forgiveness is a personal journey, not a public announcement. And with every small step, you're not erasing your story, you're reclaiming it. You're choosing to write the next chapter from a place of wisdom, not woundedness. And that brings us to one more piece of this puzzle: what happens to our lives when forgiveness becomes part of who we are, not just something we do once in a while. The real beauty of forgiveness lies not just in letting go of pain, but in opening the door to something new, something lighter, something deeply fulfilling. When forgiveness becomes a part of your life, not just something you think about now and then, but a way you choose to live, something incredible starts to happen. Your heart feels lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. And you begin to see the world and yourself through a softer, more loving lens. You start noticing beauty again in the little things. A quiet morning with a cup of tea. The sound of birds in the trees. A kind word from a neighbor. These moments might have always been there, but now they feel richer. Because the heaviness you were carrying is no longer standing in the way. That's what forgiveness makes room for. Joy. Peace. Connection. It doesn't mean life will be perfect, but it does mean you're no longer chained to the weight of what was. You're free to move forward, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. One of the most fulfilling outcomes of forgiveness is how it changes the way we relate to others. When you've walked through the hard work of letting go, you begin to offer more patience, more grace, and more understanding, not just to others, but to yourself. You stop expecting perfection and start appreciating progress. You stop guarding your heart with walls and begin opening it with wisdom. And sometimes, that shift inspires others to do the same. Your healing journey becomes a quiet light in someone else's darkness. They see your calm. They hear the gentleness in your voice. And even if they don't say it out loud, they begin to wonder if maybe they, too, could let something go. You become a living reminder that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. The kind of strength that doesn't shout, but soothes. That doesn't force, but frees. Now, I want to say this again, just in case you need to hear it today: you deserve peace. You deserve to wake up in the morning without the weight of old pain pressing down on your shoulders. You deserve a full life, filled with love and laughter and second chances. And if it's been hard to forgive, if the wounds are still fresh or the betrayal was deep, please don't be hard on yourself. Healing doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes, it's one small decision at a time. One moment where you choose peace over bitterness. One deep breath where you choose to let go instead of holding on. So wherever you are in your journey, be gentle with yourself. And know this: forgiveness is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new one. One where your past doesn't hold the pen anymore. Thank you for being here, for sharing this moment, and for choosing to grow in kindness and courage. If this video spoke to your heart, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What does forgiveness look like in your life? And if you found this helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing. We create content like this to uplift and support people just like you, because your journey matters. Here's to healing, to hope, and to living the rest of your life with lightness and love.